According to Doyin Okukwe, who is former presidential spokesperson to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former DG of the Peter Obi Dati presidential campaign for 2023, and now recently newly unofficially appointed Tinubu's puppet and Yoruba Ronu's evangelist. He said that Peter Obi may dump the Labour Party soon, speaking as reaction to the spate of defection happening from opposition parties into the APC in recent times. Though he said that to mock Peter Obi, however, I think he's correct. I personally think that Peter Obi should walk away from the Labour Party and move on. We're already in a situation where there is a one-party system in the country at the moment, and Tinubu is doing everything within his powers to remove the viability of all other parties. And because of that, Peter Obi may have to form a strong merger with other political interest actors and pressure groups to contesting further elections. I don't believe in 2027 elections as it were, as long as it is INEC and Yakub Mahmoud that will be conducting the election. But I think other elections in Nigeria, we may be able to have a stronger influence in it. However, it is not enough not to try. Anything can still happen. And then for two reasons, particularly. Number one is the fact that the current situation of the country, with the current state capture, it's making it very difficult for people to trust elections. The people that supported Peter Obi in the last election, as it were as at today, 50% of the people will not be voting in the 2027 general elections. And I'm not saying this out of emotions, I'm saying this with fact. If you think I'm lying, let's do a census of the people that supported him and ask, not that they are happy with Tinubu, or not that they are angry with Peter Obi, is the fact that they have lost faith in the electoral process and the principles of democratic procedures in our country. So these guys may actually not want to vote, because as somebody who was a direct stakeholder in the last elections, my involvement allowed me to meet with young people and the elderly, people who had very deviant political opinion, people that don't believe in the Nigerian political process, pastors who are opinion molders, thought leaders, who probably had stayed away all these years, preaching some level of don't focus on government. And even those people that have been political actors. I saw PDP greats. Somebody was telling me that somewhere where they were, a former chief of staff to a president of this country from south of Nigeria was telling his loyalists that in that particular election, they are going to vote Peter Obi because he's the best. I'm telling you, he's still alive. The man is still alive. I don't want to mention him because there are space of defamation going around, so let me be careful. A former chief of staff to a president was telling his loyalists that vote Peter Obi for the election. Very many persons in the APC and PDP all voted for Peter Obi and campaigned for him even in the election. So it was over. But however, a loss of faith has been lost in the electoral process. So 50% of people that voted Peter Obi in that last election may not be voting. And again, it's not that they are happy with Tinubu, the current government, or they are angry with Peter Obi. It's the fact that they don't. There are two from history. The someone said, or it's, of course, it's an African proverb that says, "Since the bird has learned to fly without, since the hunter has learned to shoot without gauging or aiming, the bird has not learned to fly without perching." Obviously, in dealing with the current problem of our democratic society that Tinubu and his lot has infested the environment with, we may need a strong political alliance from all and sundry, sometimes not from the very many persons you like. Because I've been reading comments and I've been having conversations with people, and I've told them, like I said, I've established the fact that I don't believe in 2027 election. But if it must be done at all, it must be done with intent, because you cannot have the number of people that came out. And every other off-cycle election that has happened in this country are enough testament to the fact that people have continually lost hope and faith in the electoral process. And guess what? It is to the benefit of the ruling party, because every time there is voter apathy, somebody wins, and the ruling party will enjoy it. So it's easy for them to manipulate. It reduces the amount of money they are using to buy votes. And these are I'm telling you now, they are empirical fact that you can check. if there is voter apathy. That's why they do their best to threaten, to intimidate, to oppress, and they don't want to even change the mindset of elections are not free and fair, because the last election was the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu stretched himself, and that's why Emefiele is collecting what he's collecting now, but he made Bola Ahmed Tinubu to go through a whole lot of all those to winning the elections. First, it was easy. There are some places that have red alert where you know you must win, and you do everything to win in that places. You will do everything to win in that place. You can win by buying votes or by intimidating and oppressing people not to come out. And so that way, when they don't come out, you spend money. You spend money to buy the vote of the people, or it's easy for you to manipulate for many of the systems, that manual or electoral manual. It used to be manual ringing in times of Obasanjo. Now there is an electoral manual where there is called glitch, right? Glitch. That's electoral ringing. Like in Edo State, you saw what happened where the beavers are actually recording over voting. Unfortunately, technology in all parts of this world was used to create system, make people to trust the process and give credibility to processes. But of course, it's not being used in Nigeria as ways and forms of manipulation, which is of course is okay. That's who we are. Now, if people do not come out to vote, it becomes easier. So they spend less money. It's easy for them to manipulate from the system. They are not having to contest a lot of things, right? And that's why, if Tinubu meant way for our democracy, all of this time he got to power, he should have removed Yakub. You should have removed them since and give somebody. So again, the person's body language, the person's renewed interest, the person's can begin to just he did like he did to EFCC. He did that to all parasitas. Why is it that NNPC and EFCC did not get a shake-up? And let me tell you why. When Emefiele began to do the theatrics that he was doing, it was going to be bad for Tinubu, because now he made money not available. The guy was deliberately acting on the script of a few persons, and he was against Tinubu. Now, there was no money available to buy votes. It made it difficult for the times. They were changing policies. A lot of people were hating the APC. And even him, Tinubu, said that he needed some other places to have used to cover up for the errors or the damage that was being done. And that's why you are seeing that shake-ups are not happening in INEC and then in NNPC. That being said, also, Emefiele also dared him. And that's how Tinubu will do anything to ensure that for the 4 years or 8 years, how many years going to be in power, Emefiele is going to suffer the consequences of making Tinubu something he has used several years to plan. It got to the year it was going to happen, a year before it was going to happen, Emefiele became a thorn in his flesh. So he's dealing with Emefiele as much as he can. So all that are geared towards 2027, and then to ensure that anybody that rises up tomorrow to challenge him or do anything against his interest, you will face Emefiele's current punishment. And these are very emotional and psychological ways of dealing with opposition. So that alone is enough reason. So tell Doyin Okokwe that we are aware a major has to happen. Yes, I don't believe in 2027 elections, but a major has to happen for people to come together. Sometimes you may not like these people. And I've seen a lot of emotional comment going around. You may not like these people. But you just have to. Tinubu has built alliance, and that's one of the things he did prior to 2015. Is in 2011, it was in 2007 actually. Atiku Abubakar, that was a sitting vice president to Olusegun Obasanjo, who was an anti-Tinubu. Tinubu and Obasanjo never saw face to face for several years. In fact, it is on record that Lagos State revenue for federal allocation was seized because of several things. There were political issues and all that, but there were some that it was regarded to be constitutional or legal issues. But it was like that. Yet Tinubu aligned with Atiku to run on his party in 2007 election that Yar'Adua won. Right? In 2011, Tinubu brought in Nuhu Ribadu. They call Nuhu Ribadu, who is NSA, National Security Advisor. In 2015, he aligned. At this time, Tinubu has never been friends. You see, the videos are there. That after Buhari lost 2011 election, he cried, he wept, and he said he retired from contesting. It was Tinubu that went to call him to say, no, you cannot retire. Just like the last, we saw a video of this Solomon on my podcast with Shehu Kibaloye, and he was talking about Buhari. Tinubu used Buhari's charisma and perceived anti-corruption brand, because at that time, corruption was the biggest demarketing that was used to demarketing Jonathan's government. He was trying in economic policies, and that's what I said. We're not suffering. Economic policies, economic revival, economic reforms were going on. Things were going. It was only corruption that was being used to demarket that government. So Tinubu went to bring Buhari, who had a perceived anti-corruption or clean record or clean brand, even though he was economically daft and inept. He brought him. That's what alignment means. If you must defeat this particular brand of politicians who are wicked, conscienceless, and very barbaric, then you must have to do alignment. So Doyin Okupe is right. Peter Obi should dump